Hello the vinyl community. I promised in a previous clip that I was going to show some soul music, and I'm going to keep that promise. Soul music, American mostly, but also British, has been part of my life, mostly since beginning of my musical interests, but it became a style that uh, I realized that it's one of my favorite styles around 1990. Uh, I listened, of course, to radio and a program called Soul Corner with the Swedish presenter Mats Nileskär, who is a professional that have interviewed them all the big ones from Chaka Khan to Whitney Houston to uh, everyone. And I'm gonna say everyone, I mean everyone. And he, in that program, had a special. It was a special program where he interviewed this band, the Family Stand, and he played songs from this album Chain. And I realized when I heard that program that this actually is very cozy, very funky and great music, and I like the style, uh, very much midnight music, and that I found very cozy, and I love it very much, and I've done so ever since then in various styles from of course the 80s soul that I have a lot of records with, and the 90s soul that was a little bit more of hip hop style, and recently, as I said before, 70s soul also. Uh, Although I'm not into hip hop at all, uh, it's not my kind of style actually. I want pure vocal, pure soul music. In this video I'm only going to show soul music from 80s and the 90s, since I showed a lot of 70s soul music in my 70s video. So, but this album is actually a great album that also is a bit hip-hop influenced. Uh, Very interesting and great lyrics, filled with both lyrics about love, but also some about society and so on. So I definitely like this album still, but this Family Stand may be the band that made me realize how great soul music was actually. I'm going to do this a little faster this time than in previous clips. It's another one of my absolute favorite artists. It's George Benson. Uh, and strangely enough, I actually listen more to George Benson as a soul artist, soul vocalist, and as a jazz guitarist. But he has a fantastic voice and really great productions all the time. This is maybe my favorite George Benson album, While the City Sleeps, from 1986. Contains Kisses in the Moonlight, a real great soul ballad, really relaxing. This is an awesome album. Another George Benson album that I bought 2 years ago, I think, that I definitely loves very much. It was named one of 2012, no, 11, I think it was. 2011's one of the best findings that year. In Your Eyes, from 1983. This is also very great, relaxing and great soul album. Feel Like Making Love, a fantastic song actually. Here's a sadly forgotten soul artist today, I think. Jeffrey Osborne, Don't Stop. I also have a live video with Jeffrey Osborne that actually is great. Uh, it's a part of the concert actually, where he sings together with the fans, and everyone is so into it. Everyone in the audience is actually singing. I don't think that anyone that actually just sits, but everyone is so into the concert. I definitely like that concert. Jeffrey Osborne is definitely a great artist I have a lot of records with, and I think he is a very underestimated soul artist actually. This is Don't Stop from 1984. Talking about underestimated artists, this is a band that is tending to be a little between pop and soul music, but I have always considered them a soul band. British 5-star, the siblings Pearsons, with the singer Doris Pearson, and I definitely always loved 5-star ever since I heard them the first time, and I absolutely love the hit singles they have with Find the Time and Can't Wait Another Minute and Rain or Shine. This is their debut album Luxury of Life, containing All Fall Down and Systematic, fantastic song. Definitely a huge fan of 5-star. And this might be one of the best soul albums ever made. Chaka Khan, I Feel For You. I also have a lot of Chaka Khan's albums, but this one is definitely my favorite. Produced by Arif Mardin, also, as I said in my 80s video, he also produced Scritti Politis, Cupid and Psyche, and is one of the 80s best producers. Another great singer, Jennifer Holliday, Say You Love Me, from 1985, and this contains another awesome funky and groovy soul song, actually, that I think is one of my absolute favorites. That is No Frills Love. It's definitely it's hard to sit still when you listen to that one. It's a fantastic track, actually, and this is a awesome album. She has a fantastic voice. From what I heard in an interview that she did with the previous mentioned Mats Nileskär in Soul Corner, she seems to be a very nice person also. I don't know, it's what the feeling I have gotten. Here is a band that I discovered pretty recently, but definitely love very, very much. Shalamar, Jody Watley and Howard Jewett. 3 for Love from 1980. Fantastic album that I bought at the record fair many years ago. Talking about Shalamar albums that I bought at record fairs. At the last record fair this autumn, I bought this one, Friends, from 1982. Also a fantastic album. This is a promo copy, it says, in some kind of a stamp here. But it's an awesome album. Really funky, fantastic songs. I Can Make You Feel Good is a fantastic, fantastic song in this album. Great band, Shalamar. And of course, what would a video with 80s soul music be without Luther Vandross? I have a lot of Luther Vandross albums as well. This is Forever, For Always, For Love from 1982. Also a great album. He has such a marvelous voice, Luther Vandross. It's one of the best voices in soul style. And here is also another one of the best voices in the soul genre, in the female side. Talking about Randy Crawford. When I first heard her in radio when she had her hit single Almas, I didn't like her at all. I never got into that song when it was popular. I disliked it because I found it so very boring. But then I changed my mind very much when I heard a couple of the soul ballads with her, and I realized she has such a marvelous voice. And I changed my mind about Almas. Today I think it's a great song, and I think Randy Crawford is definitely one of my absolute favorite female soul artists ever. So I think I have every one of her 80s albums at least. When I started listening to soul music, I said that Family Stand was a huge inspiration for me, but it was another artist that I loved very much, and that became my absolute favorite artist in this, among soul artists at the time, beginning of the 90s and forward, and that was Janet Jackson. And of course, it was a production by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis is definitely one of my absolute favorite soul producers. I also love Narada Michael Walden very much. Tommy Lee Puma, also a great soul producer. And there's a lot of those guys. L.A. Reid and Babyface, at least in their earliest works. I don't like Babyface that much when he started to sing on his own in the late 90s, but much of them. Teddy Riley, also a great producer. But Janet Jackson was, as I said, one of my absolute favorites, and this is an album that I listened to over and over again. Rhythm Nation, 1814. This is a soul classic that I may hold as one of the best soul albums ever also. Maybe Janet Jackson is the best in the Jackson family. I love the Jacksons very, very much, the Jackson family, Michael Jackson, Jermaine Jackson also, but I think Janet Jackson plays in a league of her own. Now we're going into 90s soul music. I showed a lot of 80s soul music, but it's going to be pretty much CD records right now. Sorry for that, but it's a whole lot easier to find soul music on CD here in Sweden from the 90s. And here is a really modern classic. This is Hummin' Coming At Ya with Escape from 1993. Here we're talking about a lot of hip-hop inspiration. Just Kicking It is a great soul ballad from the 90s. Another great soul artist, of course, Toni Braxton, also an L.A. Reid and Babyface production from 1992-93. This may be, she's done a lot of albums, Toni Braxton, that has been more commercial, more selling, and I love those two. But I think definitely this one might be one of my absolute favorite Toni Braxton albums. Her self-titled album. Breathe Again, definitely a great song. And here is definitely one of my absolute favorites. I said that for quite some time now, but this is definitely one of the best albums ever made, in my opinion, at least in this soul style. And it's British. It's an album that I never actually thought that I was going to find, actually. This is British group Eternal, and their album Always and Forever. Eternal did their breakthrough in 1993 with the song Stay that I heard on the radio, and I fell in love with it from the very first time I heard it, actually. It's definitely one of my absolute favorite soul songs ever. And I really hoped to find the album one day, but Eternal albums in the 90s was very hard to find. They actually in Sweden never got a hit until I Wanna Be the Only One, the duet with B.B. Winans. But before that, they were pretty unknown to the people who listen to hit charts. So it's very hard to find Eternal albums in Sweden until I found this one. I think almost 10 years after I heard Stay the first time, I found this one. at a second hand, and I was so happy to find it because it's a fantastic soul album with a little British club music in the edges, but also very much American soul style. It's a fantastic album. There's also a lot of great Swedish soul artists, and of course Eric Gadd is a huge favorite of mine. But this is an artist that I loved almost since the first time I heard her, and I think I have every album that she ever made. Actually, I love her voice. She's also very beautiful. She's a fantastic artist, and I'm talking about Robin. This is My Truth from 1999. That I think is my favorite Robin album, because this is the album that is has most soul style in it. Fantastic voice, no doubt, and fantastic feeling for groove. You can tell by the way she sings that she really loves the music that she does actually. This is a great album. It's another Robin album that I like very much. This Robin album may be a little more pop, a little more danceable than the other one, but still it's a great album. Don't Stop the Music from 2002. The title track is definitely one of my absolute favorite Robin tracks of all time. Now I'm going to go into a sub-genre in soul music that I love very, very much, and that is acid jazz sub-genre. I consider it a sub-genre. It's very much funky soul style in it, but also very much jazz in it, and it contains some collaboration of so many great styles that makes it so funky, and that really makes me love it. I haven't picked out that many albums, but still a few. This is definitely my favorite band in the style, Brand New Heavies. Unfortunately, this sleeve isn't all that perfect, but this is Brother Sister from 1994, containing one of my absolute favorite Brand New Heavies tracks, Midnight at the Oasis. Dream on Dreamer, also a great song. I really love their style actually, because they're so jazzy but also so very funky, and definitely I'm a huge fan of Brand New Heavies. This is a Brand New Heavies album that I actually was able to find, that was surprised actually about how good it was. Talking about this box, the 2 CD box that I found, Anthology of the Brand New Heavies. And the special about this one is that this is a 2 CD deluxe edition. It also contains a 20-page booklet with rare photographs. And so far so good actually. See, this is a interesting little book. But it is released by a record company that I absolutely hate, MCPS. I have no idea actually where that record company is, where it is from actually, but I have had nothing but bad experience before from that record company. I bought a Charlie Christian CD that contained absolutely no information about which band he played with. I bought a Chicago double album that was total failure. It said live, but one of the CDs was actually not live. I bought a Bad Manners CD that was pure mix. The songs were just 1 and 30-minute long, and it was mixed into the other one. It didn't contain any full songs. So I have nothing but bad experience from that crap record company. But this one actually is a huge exception, because this is CD that I was pretty surprised with how good it actually was, containing some songs that I actually didn't have, some mixes that also was interesting, and some instrumental songs that was really very groovy, and so it is actually, it's a very interesting box, no doubt about it. Another British soul acid jazz band that I like very much, Incognito. Really love this. Incognito changes singer every now on their songs, but I most of all love the songs that is sung by Misa. This is Tribes, Vibes and Scribes from 1992, containing their version of Stevie Wonder's Don't You Worry About a Thing. Fantastic groovy song, one of my absolute favorites on this one. I also like the song Magnetic Ocean, also a great song. River in My Dreams, also great. Containing both great and groovy instrumental songs and fantastic vocal performances. So, it's part of my soul collection, and I love soul music very, very much, and I will definitely continue to do so, because I feel it's maybe the most coziest and funkiest style that I definitely like. Going into the night and listening to great soul music is awesome, no doubt about it. So with that, I hope that you have a very nice continuing of the week, and until next time,